Hello and welcome back. I'm Laurie and this is Live Mindfully. Everyone has a story to tell and every story is important. Today on the podcast, I want you to consider how your story makes you feel. Do you look over the last however many years of your life and feel empowered about the next 10 years? Or do you feel defeated by your past and expect things to remain much the same? You may not realize this, but you are the master of your fate. And if things are not going the way you would like them to, there is so much you can do to turn that around. Come on, let's dive in. Before we dive into today's episode, let's take a moment to center. Wherever you are, straighten your back, relax your shoulders, gently turn your head to one side and then the other. Drop your head forward, lift it back up. And then take a deep breath in through the nose and let it out through the mouth. Okay, so today's episode is titled Everyone Has a Story. And you might be thinking I'm saying this because I'm asking you to take more time to listen to the stories of those around you. Because hey, you might learn something, or you might be uplifted, or you might be inspired to change. But that's not why I keep repeating it. I'm telling you that everyone has a story to tell because that means you too have a story worthy of telling. And everyone knows that a great story includes ups and downs. Now, the truth is, there are going to be periods in your life where you feel like the downs far exceed the ups. Perhaps you're listening to this right now, nodding along and silently thinking, yes, Laurie, I do. There is a great philosopher and American writer, Joseph Campbell, who spoke about the hero's journey in a book he wrote called The Hero with a Thousand Faces. The hero's journey is a narrative template for almost every movie ever made and every book ever written. And the reason all storylines follow this template is because it is relatable and inspiring. Joseph's book analyzes the concept which always includes a hero who goes on an adventure, learns a lesson, wins a victory with that newfound knowledge, and then returns home transformed. Joseph breaks this down as the departure, the initiation, and the return. Now, we know because we watch movies and TV and read books that it would be pretty boring if the hero journeyed off, won every battle, learnt nothing, returned home, and pretty arrogantly rubbed his victories in the faces of his family and friends. It wouldn't be very inspiring, and we probably wouldn't be itching for the sequel. In fact, just in general, we go to great lengths to avoid people like this in real life. We love a rags to riches story. A story where the main character fought their dragons and demons and defeated all odds. We thrive on stories where the underdog becomes the champion. But before this happens, in order for the hero to rise, they must fall and they must fail. They must sit in defeat and feel helpless. They must struggle and face their personal demons and recognize all of their shortcomings. And even though in movies this takes a relatively short period of time, in real life, it's a process that cannot be rushed. Maybe it takes months or even years. It takes whatever amount of time it takes for the hero to rise. But he always rises. He rises a refreshed and sparkling new version of himself. He rises with newfound knowledge and a newfound respect towards his own resilience. Now, I want you to apply this template to your own life. Think about all the battles you have fought and all the knowledge you have learnt and all the resilience you have gained. Think about all the times you have fallen and all the times you have risen. It's certainly not been easy, but at each stumble you have become a shinier version of yourself. Now consider if the decisions you have made in the past, the decisions that have led you to the path you are currently on, are in alignment with where you want to be. Are you proud of your story? And if you are, amazing. Keep on doing what you're doing because, babe, it's working for you. But if you're not, why? Are you able to discern when you stopped writing the story you expected to be living? Because that's what's happened. At some point, you stopped investing in yourself and writing your story. The good news is you're always holding the pen. You see, in this narrative called life, you are the hero, and your life is the adventure. Along the way, you are going to learn lessons, sometimes very hard lessons, and then you are going to win victories with that newfound knowledge and return home, hopefully, transformed. There is a poem called Invictus, written by William Ernest Henley, that I believe perfectly encapsulates the hero's journey, and it goes like this. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. The thing is, it does not matter what story you have written up to this point. It does not matter how old or young you may be. You are always the master of your fate. You are in charge of your story, and if the narrative isn't working for you, then change it. You are writing the narrative of your life. You are the hero of your journey. And yes, you're going to stumble, you're going to fall, and you are going to go into battle. You're going to get bloody and be in pain. You have to. You have to fall because that's the only way you can rise. But you will rise. You will rise a shinier, refreshed, and sparkly version of yourself. You will gain insight and knowledge, and you will decide how this most recent battle prepares you for the next. You may have heard of an Australian palliative care nurse named Bronnie Ware, who wrote a book titled The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. Bronnie spent years caring for people in their last 12 weeks of life and noticed a common theme when her patients shared their regrets. It's a great book. I absolutely loved reading this book, but it's also pretty heartbreaking. Because when you read this book, each of the regrets are going to resonate. And sadly, if we don't start engaging in reflection and we don't start to seriously say to ourselves, I am writing the narrative to my life, we are likely to have some of the same regrets on our deathbeds. The biggest regret people had was, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. I have goosebumps just saying that. Like, I could honestly cry. I don't want that regret for you. And I definitely don't want that regret for myself. I don't want to get to the end of this one great life and realize that I didn't really craft the life I wanted to live. So let's take some time today to consider how our stories are going. Let's shift our thinking from life happens to me to I am the hero of my journey. And if it helps, picture yourself as your favorite superhero. Like, I am for sure going to be Thor. And then start to write a story you are proud to tell. Because you are the master of your fate. Because you are the captain of your soul. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. I appreciate you taking the time and hope that you walk away feeling a little lighter and inspired to take control of this adventure that is your life's journey. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please follow and rate this podcast. And I would be so grateful if you could share this episode across your socials and with family and friends. I'll see you next week. Until then, take good care of yourself.